I'm actually watching hockey right now at the same time, watching playoff hockey. Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I know I was watching TXR the other day on Monday, and I think Maka had his Maple Leafs jersey on, and that's who my team's playing right now in the playoffs, the Caps.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't kept up with hockey, but just because of the Flyers, I like the Flyers just because they're from Philly.
Yeah, yeah. I never forget. God, speaking of the Flyers, I remember what was it like back in 2008? They eliminated the Caps. It was like an overtime game. I'll never forget that. I think it was like 2008, 2007. I don't remember, but I remember. I remember it was at the. I almost said the Spectrum in Philly, but it was at. Is this still the Comcast Center there or something? Is that no? That's not the Comcast Center, is it?
It's been so long since I've seen it, so I wouldn't even know. So you're probably right, no matter what you say.
The Spectrum was like the old building. I thought it was I can't remember. I don't know if it was Comcast. I don't remember.
I mean, it could be because Comcast is. I mean, that's their market.
Is that there? Yeah, it might be Comcast. I think I could have swore it was Comcast. Yeah, Comcast is they're big down here too, but I think at least most people in my neighborhood have FiOS.
Yeah, it's good to at least have one other option, right? I mean, like pretty much the cable companies have cornered the markets. I feel bad for people still stuck with DSL.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's people out here that they live on the wrong side of the street and they can't get FiOS.
Oh shit.
They have like satellite TV and they have DSL.
Oh my gosh. You got that like direct TV bundle, whatever it is?
Yeah, they got direct TV.
Holy shit.
Bad for him, dude.
Yeah, that's DSL. I remember those days. Let's see here. I mean, I was actually lucky. I didn't have DSL. Well, I upgraded to broadband because of Xbox Live. But at the time, it was Comcast that was in my neighborhood. That seems like such a long time ago.
Oh man, internet quality still ridiculous.
What's that, Sam?
Internet quality all over the place. It's so many areas it's still incredibly underdeveloped.
Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of rural areas, it's still behind. Like I see people like post stuff like they get like 25 megs like down and like 5 up. I'm like, oh my God, like how? Like,
yeah, I'm one of them. That's a great day. Well, no, you know what? I actually get closer to about 18 up. To be fair, the up is actually pretty good, but
that's not too bad.
But it's more like 20, 22 down, really.
Oh, the live chat bomb or trap.
Yeah, he pulled that one.
Yeah. I gave Sam and Clowns a warning.
My face is literally full of peanut chicken, right? Because I'm eating dinner late. And he pulls that 30 seconds before he hits it. He's like, oh, by the way, yeah, we're going live early. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Mouthful of chicken.
He's like licking his fingers. He's like, yeah. Sam, peanut chicken sounds good, man. Is that something homemade or is that something you ordered?
Oh, totally homemade.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so when are you going to start sending out samples to everybody, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got this Patreon that I'm going to be starting, so you can check out all the details there.
Sam's Peanut Chicken Patreon. Oh, man. Hey, how's it going, Clowns? Good to meet you, man.
Hey, what's up, man? Pretty good. I was just reading some tweets, and apparently, like, GameStop allegedly is giving out free Deformers codes to their employees or something.
What are they doing? Giving out free what?
Deformers, the game, free codes for their employees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on Cheap Ass Gamer right now, but I'm just trying to make sure that like it's not one of those people just making a spam post trying to get people's logins and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm checking it out.
What's up, Digital Tiger? In the live chat. Said he listened to our episode with David Jaffe today. That was that episode was that was an interesting one, Eric, right?
That was fun.
Considering that David said I looked like I was broadcasting from an ISIS cave.
He also said you look like you were broadcasting from the head of a Geiger.
Yeah. I remember that. He did say that.
That was good.
That was really
good.
cool, man. That was
It turned to CNN at the end.
and then it turned into CNN at the end, yeah.
Yeah. It's like
the
Brett political podcast.
I never told you guys this, but I was getting like DMs from John. He's like, dude, end the podcast. End the podcast. He's like, this is getting out of hand. That's when I was like, all right, we got to wrap up, Mike and David.
No, it's pretty fun stuff, man. So are we officially going live here? What are we doing?
We're live right now.
Well, no, we are, but you know.
We are live.
All right.
If we wanted to start actual podcasting, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're waiting for John, but we could probably just kick it off. I've been meaning to reach out to B Money. I know he's expecting soon, I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I need to reach out. So I haven't heard from him in a while. I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, I checked up on him the other day and told him to be safe with that crazy shooter thing going on.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, man, Cleveland. Yeah. By the way, big shout out to Cal L, who's big shout out to him. Hope you feel better, bro. We look forward to getting you back on rap soon.
Yeah, I saw he has some stuff going on, so I feel bad, man.
Yeah.
I think he said he's back home now, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's always good.
Good.
When you get back home.
All right, so all right, it's 9:00. We're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off officially. That was the we like to call the pregame to the podcast.
Oh my bad. I jumped out early. I didn't realize it wasn't quite 9 yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I stuck with pregame, Eric. So hey everybody, welcome to BRAP Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. This is podcast number 66. It's crazy. Time has really flown by. I remember when we were like doing like 30, Eric. I think you had just hopped on at that time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, it was just like me and you for a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the infamous night when you went to grab a beer. You just left me like I'll be right back. We'll get a beer. I'm like, what?
And Eric's like, yeah, so yeah, that game was great. And
hey, anybody in the chat want to talk about anything?
I think you were interacting with the live chat.
And then I noticed the deal was like,
yeah,
just failed.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, guys, let's talk about, make some quick introductions real quick. And then I want to go to the live chat because Digital Tiger just brought up a great question. I know, Sam, you're interacting with him right now, but so we have a special guest on tonight. We have Italian Clowns from the Four Guys with Quarters podcast. Great podcast, by the way. Definitely check them out. We had Inferno, aka Mike, on a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually, and he's also one of the co-hosts at Four Guys with Quarters. But Italian Clowns, man, thanks again, man, for joining us tonight, man. It's a pleasure to finally have you on Brat, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here. You guys are a really cool crew, and you got a good podcast going. So, very happy to support you guys and be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, we are Yeah, man, we're definitely excited, and like I said, we had Inferno on before, and you guys are great. Definitely enjoy your podcast and what you guys do. I really like the setup that you guys have. Is that are you guys using I can never remember the name of it. I want to say Discord, but it's not Discord, it's something else.
You mean the stream?
Yeah, the
like
stream. What are you guys using?
We started with OBS.
Okay.
Because Inferno liked the way the layout was.
Yeah.
And then he gradually went over to XSplit. Just
XSplit.
because, XSplit has advanced himself so much.
Nice. Yeah, I love the presentation, man. It's definitely cool. Like if I had the time to do that, I would do it, but we're just bare bones right now.
We're keeping with the old hangout.
Exactly.
You know what though? It's all about the topics, man.
Facts. Yep, this is true. This is true. So, Sam, we have Sam, our brother from Rivia. What's going on, Sam?
Well, to give you an idea of my kind of day, I'm eating dinner while I'm writing while I'm podcasting. So it's been rough lately. It's been pretty hectic. That said, it's going pretty well.
Awesome.
Lots of interesting news, to talk about. Lots of stuff to get to.
Yeah, Sam, I got to get back on Xbox Live, man. I know you're on there a lot, and I got to get back. I saw you mention that, like, because I know we were talking in DM today. You mentioned you were playing Gears, man. I got to get back on some Gears, man.
Yeah, dude, it's my multiplayer standby right now.
I need to.
It's like that and Uncharted 4, but of the two, primarily Gears. I just keep going back to them because it's like, you know what? I got 20 minutes to kill. Let's blow some stuff up, Let's chainsaw some stuff.
Oh yeah, so go in there and shotgun whip somebody.
Right? Yeah. And Sam, as always, man, I love the fact that you're a Witcher 3 fan.
Oh, well, everyone should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And this is probably for another conversation. Is it still the best open world RPG game this console gen?
It is. It is.
I'll go with that. I agree with that.
I still haven't finished it, to my eternal shame.
But you know what? It's like The Witcher 3 is one of only a handful of games that's understandable due to the size and content. The others are like, Fallout 4 and I think even Skyrim, even today, you can sort of get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just I keep letting other games jump ahead, and I'm like, such disrespect to the Witcher 3.
I know. Like, your time is limited. One of these days, I'm going to, chain you down to a chair. It's like, right, okay. I'll bring you food. Here's your controller, fresh batteries.
It's going to be like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
It's Steve from Clockwork Orange.
And periodically over the speaker, Sam's like, what area are you in?
Yeah. B Money. What is going on, man?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Hey, man. How you doing?
So, B, do you know Clowns, man? I don't know if you guys know each other.
I haven't officially met him, but I check out the show, so we virtually know each other, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's my first time talking to him as well.
Awesome. Well, Clowns, meet B Money, meet Clowns.
What's up, man?
Nice to meet you, man.
Sorry I'm late.
And without further ado,
Negative.
we have the Pony Commissioner. Oh, I should say Pony Commissioner.
Oh,
that's someone
copyright
else.
infringement.
That's copyrighted.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just got.
Whoa, no, he's a bot today.
Your body.
Am I botting?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
you are.
It's bad.
Am I?
Oh, yeah.
All right, hold on. I'll be right back.
I am.
That's the X-bot taking over his
Yes, the X-body. All right, so John will be back. Yeah, so that was John. All right, and he usually doesn't bot. That's interesting.
Technology's awesome until it fails us, man.
That's right.
Is that better?
Oh, that's
Nope.
much better.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I just got back from Best Buy. I was knocking over all the fucking Xbox shit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you had to say that, huh?
Wow. Look real dirty. Yep. And then I went and I grabbed a broom.
John, you were botting again.
You're botting bad.
Am I botting again?
Yes.
This is revenge. You knocked over all the Xbox
This
stuff,
is
and now they
revenge.
come for you.
Someone's fucking with you, man.
Yeah, they're on your Windows PC. Be careful.
All right, so John will be back again. Hold on a second here, guys. I'm looking for something real quick. All right, and we have a special treat for y'all this evening. You have a young man that y'all know as Joe the Policeman from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama. I want y'all to put your hands together and welcome to Brab from Fort Lauderdale, Mr. Eric Jackson, everybody.
Man, if I wasn't so dark skinned, you could tell I was blushing. Is that all because of the profile pic change?
Dude, that profile pic, man. My wife thought you were Johnny Gill.
I've never heard Johnny Gill. I never got that one.
Yeah, have you guys seen his profile pic?
Yeah, man. He's got like that. The singer Joe. He always has like that same. You know what I mean? Type of
that's another one. I haven't heard Joe before.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I see E-Jack out here.
I bet you hadn't heard that you had worked at Bethesda before either, huh?
I haven't heard that one either. That was a new one. Mike P. The Truth said LeVar Arrington. That was a new one.
All right.
And but the one I get all the time, especially when I have my glasses on, Randy Jackson.
All right,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Right, hook up my LAN cable, so hopefully that.
There you go.
Oh, much better.
You're good now. You're good, dude.
Yeah, but no, like I was saying, man, then I grabbed a broom and then some cleaner, and I went and cleaned the place real good. Made that shit sparkle, because I'm sorry. Like I just,
I don't know. I think you might have hit your computer with that Best Buy card.
I might have, right? Like, I mean, honestly, dude, like. You can't say that shit and expect me not to mock you. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, I mean, this is why I could never work in customer service. Because somebody would come at me with that crazy bullshit, and honestly, I would just pull down my pants.
Well,
Okay.
Personally, I just want to say, like, when I looked at the video, I don't know the person that posted the video, I don't think, but when I looked at it, I didn't really see anything really out of array. The only thing I saw was like the Best Buy cart in front of something. That's probably just because
That's kind of what I thought too, Clint. I was like, it looks kind of tiny to me.
It's brave new territory in the console war.
Well, I got to tell you this though: if you ever go to Toys R Us, right? And you look on the back wall where like they have what's left of the Vita games / with the PS4 games that are like on clearance or whatever. I try to look at the Vita games when it's always a mess. But now that I've seen the other video, I'm going to go up to Toys R Us and ask them, why is their clearance rack a mess on their PS4 side?
What I want to know is why is the Transformers section always so pristine, but the Ninja Turtle section but more than that, why does the Marvel section look so good and the DC section is always like real disheveled and dirty looking? Like,
that's just the inner state of the movies coming out, though.
I was gonna say, like, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the state of the respect.
No, you bring up a legitimate point though, because when I went to Toys R Us, I was looking at the Minecraft stuff, like the Minecraft sets, whatever, Legos or whatever they're called, the blocks, Mega Blocks. They were disarray, and where the Halo Mega Bloks figures were, they had Game of Thrones figures in there. So there is something. Yeah, HBO is doing something.
Fucking HBO and their biased bullshit.
I got to be honest with you, John.
HBO has that fucking pro Sony agenda, just like Cinemax has that pro Microsoft agenda.
Well, don't they have that free trial now on PS4? I saw like the thing pop up. It's like highly advertised now. It's right there.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
They do a free trial for all the consoles. You could watch Season 6 for like a month for free on Xbox a while ago.
Oh, nice.
They do that all the time.
Nice.
Why were people in chat talking about Randy Watson and sexual chocolate? Why were they talking about Mr. Randy Watson?
Oh, because we introduced Mr. Eric Jackson, everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, we introduced
Mr. Randy Watson.
I just want to say one more thing about this, and then we can move on.
God somewhere.
Yeah, give again.
That boy is good.
Yeah, good and terrible. Man, you ain't met no Dr. Martin Luther King.
I did.
Video games.
Walked around the corner, punched me in the face. I said, Dr. King.
I said that game.
Oops, I thought you were somebody else.
All right.
All right, we totally like gone off the rails here.
That's what happens when I'm right.
Yes, but it's a nice segue to video games. Real quick, I want to go to the live chat real quick because we have someone who I believe is new, Digital Tiger, and he did pose a question earlier. He wanted to know, what do you guys think of the release of Drawn to Death? I think it's awesome and something different. I wish it was 4 vs 4 or 3 vs 3, but for what it is, it's enjoyable. And he actually he did listen to our the podcast that we had with David Jaffe when he joined us. So has anyone played Drawn to Death? Anyone have any thoughts on this?
It is the very utter definition of the word mediocre. If you look at mediocre in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of that stupid fucking vampire drawing guy. I mean, it's not very good. Like Enrique, you and I played it, and
that's what you said to me as we're playing it.
I was playing with Enrique. We're playing it. We were playing it in the beta, and I'm like, I'm just playing it. Enrique, I'm really quiet. I'm usually really talkative when I'm playing multiplayer games. Enrique says, "So what do you think?" And I'm like, "This is boring. Like it's just not like it's like it's an arena shooter that doesn't do any more than 2v2." And I'm like, I don't know, like, and plus, like, I've seen a few people say, "Oh, the art style is really cool." I'm sorry, but that art style is like somebody vomiting into my eyeballs. Like,
you don't
I'm just like
school and doodling and making these little drawings back in the day. You don't remember?
I do. When I was like fucking in 3rd grade, but I don't want to play that shit in a video game because it looks terrible. Like it just is not, and it is just not an appealing look. And plus, the characters animate like they've all been executed and have risen from the grave because they've all got rigor mortis. Like I just don't, all respect to David Jaffe. I think he's a nice guy, but I just don't think it's a very good game. I think there are a billion other games you could be spending your valuable time or money on right now, as opposed to Drawn to Death. And I guarantee you, within weeks, Drawn to Death will be dead.
It is free right now.
This is a game that will not have legs. Even if you like it, and you're allowed to like it. Maybe I'm just a fucking asshole who doesn't know what he's talking about. But I can tell you right now that in a couple of weeks, Drawn to Death will be dead. Nobody will be playing it.
I'll like. Has anyone, Clowns, have you played it?
I played it when he first launched the beta, like when the beta keys were very hard to get a hold of, maybe alpha keys back then. And when I played it, I mean, I liked it, but it really wasn't fully as developed as it is now. To be honest, my favorite part of the game is like the initial cutscenes in the classroom where the kids are talking. I thought that was really cool.
It's just like the game goes out of its way to tell you how fucking terrible you are at everything. Like, not just the game, but like the game goes out of its way to tell you how shitty your life is. And I've already got a stressful enough life without a game telling me, like, not only are you bad at this game, but you got a small dick. Like, I'm like, no. I'm like, well, one, no, that's completely not true. And two, stop insulting my dick. Like, I mean, like this game throws out insults that don't make any sense, right? I'm playing the beta, and I died. I died, and it's like.
So it looks like middle school drawings, and it appropriately throws out middle school insults.
So, like, here's a good example. Like, and like, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact words that the game used, but like, I died, and it's like, "You're fucking ugly," and I'm like, why? Like, why would you even say that? Like, even if I was fucking ugly, like, that's a weird thing to say. That's like a weird thing to fucking bring up in the context of playing this video game. The game's like, the game didn't tell me I sucked at the game. It said, "You're an unattractive chud," and I'm like,
well,
what the fuck did I do in your game? Like, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's because David Jaffe's just really jaded. He doesn't like anybody, but. I don't know. Like, I just, it's not a very fulfilling game to play. It's not a very fun game to play. And if your game isn't very fun and it goes out of its way to fucking mock you, like in your personal life, then I'm not going to play it. Sorry.
He's cyberbullying you.
Yeah. It's like you have an unusually large mane of chest hair, you fucking ape. And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I just, no, thank you.
I will say this. I think I disagree with you, John, on the artistic value of the game. I think I like the notebook drawing. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's creative.
So terrible.
But yeah, the insults are funny, but then they get old after a while. It does get kind of it's like okay, like that. It was funny for like the first.
They get old after like
Yeah.
the first two. It's like why are you insulting my main of pubic hair?
Yeah,
like
but it's-
like what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like why, like it just. And the but like I said, the insults don't even make any sense in the context of the game. Like it's one thing if the game says like ha ha ha, you suck, you died because you've got giant Sasquatch hands and your knuckles are banging together and you can't hold the controller right. Okay, fine, I get it. But when you die, like it doesn't even insult your game skills. It's like your wife is probably fucking cheating on you, bitch. And I'm like that just wow, like Jesus Christ, like. David Jaffe, I understand that you're upset, but there's no need to take it out on me.
Eric, you were saying, man?
No, I was just laughing because it's almost like, the father of Kratos made a game where Kratos is actually like spewing the insults at you because he's angry, Yeah. I played the beta and I played a little bit that night and we all kind of, I think we all jumped in there for a little bit or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the art. I mean, when I first saw that game introduced, I said, "Oh, that's an interesting new concept," and I thought it was cool. I was like, notebook paper doodles. That's pretty cool. But John is right; it does kind of control pretty stiff.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to use it as a gauge, I mean, the game is free. I still haven't even downloaded it to go back in and play it.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just not gonna. I mean, I'm not even gonna try it again because I don't want any of those trophies.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. It's only free to play if you have PS Plus, right?
Yeah, and that is true too.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I couldn't see anybody chalking down like $20 to play.
No.
But I mean, I thought it was fun when I played it, and I liked the art style. And like I said, like I'm a big fan of those cutscenes, and that's one thing I mentioned when I spoke to Jaffe one time. Was like, I love your cutscenes.
But Clowns, would you agree that the game is not going to have an audience 2 weeks from now?
It's not with the $20 price tag.
Yeah, I like to know how many people actually paid for it because
especially like when fucking Mario, Mario Kart 8 comes out next week for Switch, and what am I going to play? I'm going to play Drawn to Death, or I'm going to play fucking Mario Kart 8. I mean,
you're going to play Persona 5.
I haven't played Persona 5 in a week because I played Cosmic Star Heroine because it's so much better.
We'll talk about that.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
All right.
Nice little hot take there.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's look. Excuse me, real quick. Let's talk about what everyone's playing real quick. Clowns, why don't you go first as the special guest this evening?
I've been playing Yakuza 0 just because it's my backlog and I have to play it.
Nice.
And I gotta say, like, yeah, I love it and I hate it at the same time, man. Like, the story is fantastic and the cutscenes are fantastic, but I feel like the gameplay itself is a little stiff and the graphics are not comparable to other stuff right now for that type of game, that style of game. But I have been addicted to it. I've been trying to get all the sub stories done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played it for like maybe a week before Horizon Zero Dawn came out. But no, you're right. The graphics, I mean, visually, it's like, it's okay. The strength of that game is clearly its story and the characters, but even the combat's kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah, I think if you have like that nostalgic connection to those types of games, it still has that feel.
It reminds me of Shenmue a little bit.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think for me that's part of the draw. Is it feels like a little bit of like home cooking. Something that you kind of takes you back to a certain place. Like I haven't finished that game, so I'm like very much like early in it. I don't know if over time it starts to be more noticeable than wear on you, but the early parts that I played, I dug it. But it's definitely. It's a little stiff. It's a little, it feels a little dated in some areas, but I guess depending on who's playing it, that can be charming or annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good point, man. Yeah. What else are you playing, Clowns?
Other than that, I got to get a review done for City Skyline, so I started that one.
Mm-hmm.
What else? And Gwent. A lot of Gwent, man. Like, I'm hooked on Gwent, too. Love
Good
Gwent.
man.
Nice. Nice. All right. So is that it in terms of what you're playing right now?
Yeah, pretty much. That's it.
Sweet. All right. B-Money, why don't we go to you, man? What are you playing right now?
I really haven't had a chance to play much of anything. But when I do get a chance to play, I'm mainly playing Persona 5. Very addicted to that game. And then whenever I feel like I need a break from that, I'll play like MLB The Show for a little bit. But mostly just Persona, man. The game is so amazing. And it's just as good as I hoped it would be. So just trying to put in more hours into that. I think I'm about like 22 hours in or whatever. So just trying to crank that out before like the next big game comes out.
All right. Eric, what about you, man?
Yeah, I'm sort of like B-Money. I haven't had a lot of time to play, anything for any length of time. But I picked up Rise and Shine in the spring sale.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Great buy.
Woo! Yeah. That's a great game. So I'm really enjoying that, and it's definitely a good game for when you haven't had like a big chunk of time to sit and play anything. So kind of jump in, do a little bit and keep moving. But outside of that, I also finally picked up BioShock the collection, and just like one night after I bought it, I was just like, let me play around in BioShock. I haven't played it in a long time. This was going on, and next thing, like 3 hours later, I'm like, I'm stuck right back into it. That's just the draw of that game still holds up, like the first game anyway. And I never played the second, and I'm looking forward to getting back into Infinite because Infinite's just awesome. So
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's just one of those games you can play over and over again.
Yeah, BioShock came at a time where like multiplayer games were really just hitting their stride. Call of Duty had really just set off. So like BioShock was just like that special single player game that really, pulled you in. So BioShock is definitely a great series.
I think like multiplayer games were really like taking off. So that's why I think the second one had multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't very good from what I understood. So
it was not.
Right. And I actually never played any of the DLCs from 2 or 3, and I heard Minerva's Den is awesome. So
it's better than the actual game itself.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And I heard Infinite's DLC. What is it? What's the name of it?
Burial.
Yeah, I heard it's phenomenal also. So I never got a chance to play that. So yeah, so I'm probably going to end up rocking out on BioShock Collection again, with Witcher 3 taking another sideline seat. Sam, sorry, but I will get that done. I promise. I will get it done.
Eric, don't you have Persona 5 too?
I do.
Damn, man.
He probably didn't even put it in yet, man.
No, he has 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
So, which means I looked at the credits. So, but it's sitting there waiting. Nier Automata still sitting there waiting. I've been playing that off and on. Yeah, just time-wise, even Breath of the Wild, I have that sitting there. I started off on that, have to get back to playing that also. It's just there's so many of these games that are just long that it's going to take a major commitment. In the last week or so, I just haven't had that time to do that. So it's kind of neat games I can play a chunk of and get back out.
Jeez, man. Talk about backlog. Holy shit.
Oh, that's not even most of the backlog. It's ridiculous, dude.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Sam, what about you, man?
So I really haven't had a lot of time to play, or not as much as I would have liked over the last couple of weeks. I've been playing a lot of my multiplayer standbys, of course, and Gears and Uncharted and Halo Wars 2. Then the biggest thing I've been playing is this little indie called Rain World. I think I've talked about it a little bit before, but it's really a phenomenal game that the more time you spend with it, the more it really comes into its own. About you guiding a small little creature called a slug cat through a very living, breathing ecosystem. Like there's different predators and different types of creatures, and you can tell this is like a pseudo-industrial society, but you don't really understand anything. You just have to dodge the dangers and stuff like that. And every time you die or you restart the game or whatever, everything changes, like item placement, sticks or stones to ward off predators, and which enemies are where, and all that sort of thing. So it really lends a lot of replay value to it. And that's been really interesting, spending some time with that. And then I wanted to get into Voodoo Vince Remastered, because I've never played Voodoo Vince before we got on the podcast, but I ran out of time because my internet was being slow downloading it.
What was your internet doing you a favor is what it was.
No, how dare I want to play something, right, John? How dare I?
I heard that from other people too, that Voodoo Vince is it's out there, but
Voodoo.
I prefer cable. It's fun.
It's okay. I mean, I had it on the OG Xbox.
It's not the
okay.
people look at these things with rose tinted glasses on, right? Like, look at Resident Evil 4. I'm about to fucking commit some blasphemy here, but Resident Evil 4 is a good game for nostalgia purposes, but it doesn't hold up well.
Of course.
It does not hold up well at all.
Which is interesting considering what it did for the third-person shooter genre.
Exactly, but I would argue that Voodoo Vince was not anywhere near as relevant to the platform genre that Resident Evil 4 was to the third-person shooter genre.
Of course,
that's true. Right?
So, Voodoo Vince it's not a look. I was hyperbolizing earlier. It's not a terrible fucking game. It's just not a remarkable game, and much like when you look at games like Bulletstorm, right? I'm like, okay, Bulletstorm was okay, but I mean, did we really need a remaster for this? Or Deadpool. It's like, who's asking for a Deadpool remaster?
I am,
and we already got one. It was a terrible game. But Voodoo Vince, it's like, okay, I mean, really, I mean, Clowns, Sam, were you guys really chomping at the bit for a fucking Voodoo Vince remaster?
No, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy it.
Oh no, sure. I'm not saying that. I'm just.
I don't think anyone in the world is actually hyping this up, and if they are, they need to get their heads screwed right.
Well,
honestly, here's the thing, though, John. It's like, I know you're being hyperbolic and you're being funny, all that, but there is a lot of hate that a lot of people are getting over, like, how dare you try and play this? And I'm like, I'm literally just wanting to spend a few hours with a retro game.
Hold on, wait, Sam, time out. You got hate for like saying you're gonna play it?
Mm-hmm, and I've seen other people have too.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous.
That's crazy, yeah.
It's absurd.
I'm not hating on anybody. I just don't think it's a great game.
No,
I will say this. Like I mentioned in DMs with multiple Xbox people that I was interested in the game and whatnot because I never played the original and I thought like the graphical upgrade kind of looked good and people said it's a so-so game. Don't get too excited about it. That's what I was told.
Yeah, Clowns. It's at best an average platformer. I had it on the OG Xbox when it came out, and it was okay. Like it wasn't. There are better platformers out there, but it was okay.
Now I feel like
it was just okay.
I would be far more impressed if they'd pulled like a Ratchet and Clank, right? And so like we're completely rebuilding the assets of the game from the ground up. And we're making it relevant again. And we're pricing it at $40. And I don't know. Like I'm kind of over remasters now a little bit. You know, I'm like, okay. I'm like I have not picked up Bulletstorm, and I don't intend to because it seems like we got all we remastered all the good games like BioShock, and fucking Skyrim and everything.
We haven't remastered Dead Space yet, so we'll have to do
but the thing is, like with a very, very few exceptions, I feel like we're starting to kind of scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, of course we are.
With remasters and it's just whatever. I mean, it's not a crime to like Voodoo Vince, and if you're an Xbox fan and you're excited for it, by all means, go play it. I just don't think it's all that great, but that's just me. I'm sure somebody will say it's because you're a fucking pony, John, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
John, you are
that'd be ridiculous.
Resident Pony.
You're a Nintendo bot.
I am now. Yeah.
John actually has Mario gloves. I don't know if you guys know this.
I actually. Well, I don't wear them on my hands.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, no. My love for my Switch is well documented.
Yeah. All right, so so John, what are you playing, and tell us about the game that's better than Persona 5.
Okay, so I've been playing a lot of games. I'm about maybe 35 hours in Persona 5, and I just it's a wonderful game, but I just stopped playing it, and I'm not going to pick it up for a while not because of anything wrong with Persona 5, but I mean, in the past, I mean, I've played through. I mean, after Zelda.
Shit,
and Horizon.
Yeah.
I got like 35 hours into Persona 5 and I cleared the second boss in this 100-hour game and I was like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I can't do any more 80+ hour open world games, right? Or I mean, Persona 5 is an open world, but I can't do any more 80 hour plus playthroughs right now. Like I need bite-sized games that I pick up and play. Yeah. I'll come back to Persona 5 obviously, but I sank 80 hours into Horizon and like 85 hours into Zelda, and I'm like I need to fucking Persona 5 no bullshit, is a 90 to 100 hour game, and that's if you're not doing everything. So I was like, I got 35 hours in, and I was like, I can't. I can't right now. So I grabbed Cosmic Star Heroine, and we're actually giving away a copy of the game that was. We actually Zeboid Studios, which was who they designed Cosmic Star Heroine. They provided us a code for the game, which we're going to give away in Superform Games, our Superform Gamescast, which goes live, of course, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us. But we're going to give that away tomorrow night. It's a fucking phenomenal game, especially if you are somebody like me who grew up with the classics like Chrono Trigger and Phantasy Star.
John, when you said Phantasy Star, you caught my attention. I was like,
it has the aesthetic, the futuristic aesthetic of Phantasy Star, but it looks like Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Chrono Trigger.
Two good things to be.
Good game, by the way.
And I mean, it is an absolutely. I mean, fuck, I'll fire it up right now. I mean, the thing about Cosmic Star. Hey, you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm actually gonna fucking fire that bitch up right now. So let you guys check it out. But,
wow, they had a Kickstarter too.
They did have a kick. So I'll tell you this much: the game had a rocky launch. And I'm not going to tell you that everything is wine and roses, because it's not. The game does have, or it did have anyway. I think they actually recently just got patched, but there were some pretty irritating bugs, including one bug where I guess the dialogue windows, like after, and this happened to me several times, after you would get done talking, like the dialogue windows would keep popping up, and I'm like, oh my god.
Wow.
Sometimes my characters would just like freeze, and like even though they were still attacking enemies, like their animations weren't changing, so they're just like sliding around the screen. And that required a couple of restarts. But Cosmic Star Heroine is just I can't, like, the battle system stands with some of the it's just as good as some of the more modern offerings like Final Fantasy 15, right? So you have these, so you have your abilities, but there's no magic points, there's no tech points. Instead, when you use an ability, that ability is spent until you defend, and then when you defend for a turn, you regenerate all your abilities. And there's a gauge, a hyper gauge. It fills up. When the hyper gauge fills up, your character glows yellow, and you do extra damage, or there's a greater chance for you to inflict a status effect with like whatever spell. So it adds a really tactile, strategical element to every battle. And it's like, do I attack now, or do I defend for a turn, or do I wait and see if my hyper is going to pop? Mm-hmm. Do I risk it because this is a really strong enemy? What should I just try to kill him now? And it is just an absolutely phenomenal game. Just really wonderful stuff. And you can't go wrong. Like, I think right now, I could look, but I think right now it is like $9.99 if you're on PS Plus. And at $9.99, there is literally no fucking reason not to go play this.
It's $10.
$10.
That's amazing.
I mean, it is a phenomenal, and it's a 20-hour game, just like Chrono Trigger. And it looks like you're playing a Chrono Trigger game. Like I cannot recommend this game enough. And I am actually going to do another playthrough of probably this weekend. In preparation for Mario Kart next week, because next week's going to be Puyo Puyo Tetris and Mario Kart week. Yeah. So in fact, I can. I'm gonna fire it up here and get that bitch going. Yes, I'm going to start the application of that update. Yeah, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it. I can move my camera. Yeah. So there's you got the title screen there, and I can even turn the sound on here. We'll do a little live demo right here on Vixen Radio Arcade Podcast.
This is Brap Foundry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're gonna, only we're biased towards Ouya. But
What'd you say? We're biased towards Ouya?
Biased towards Ouya. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, there we go. So, and I'll go ahead and tell you that the soundtrack of this game.
Oh my god, I love that music. Just
So the soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal. And as you can see, I've got several save states in several places. So yep, so you can see the. Tell me that doesn't look like Chrono Trigger.
Mm.
I mean, it looks like fucking Chrono Trigger. Are you guys able to see that? Okay.
It's a little bright. It's a little bright.
It's a little bright. Yes, watching out.
Is it a little bright?
Yeah. Turn down the
Wait,
light.
wait.
On.
Do you guys want me to turn the lights off? I can get real sexy in here if you want. But no. So okay. Well, I guess you guys won't be able to see it very well. But I mean, Cosmic Star Heroine is absolutely worth every fucking penny. I mean, I would pay.
Oh, wow.
I would pay
Doesn't- yeah.
higher. I would pay far higher than $10 for this.
Can you choose the crew that hangs out with you?
You can actually. So there's like So there's you can see here you can change your characters. There's you've got your magic user, but like what's cool is that the game is very self-deprecating and it's very aware of the fact that it's a video game. So there's a bunch of really cool cultural, like for example, this guy Dave here. One of his abilities is called Troll. And he attacks with a data pad. It's like an iPad, and the attack is he actually trolls the enemy online and gets them all pissed off and confused.
It's like console wars.
No, that's exactly what it is. And it is just so. Let me see if I can get into a battle here. And plus, like as you guys can hear, the fucking soundtrack is just
Yeah, no, I can hear it. Sounds good.
out of control. I mean, Zaboy Games really outdid themselves with this. So here, in fact, you can. I'll make it so you can see it better.
I might have to pick this up for $10.
There we go. Is that a little better?
Oh yeah. That looks much better.
Okay, so we'll go ahead. We'll do a battle here, and I'll show you what I mean. Right. So these are all your abilities down here. Right. When I use one, like I'll use my laser attack, and then I will defend with Dave here, and I'll. So all these attacks I'm using will be gone the next time around. Right? Okay, see, now she's glowing yellow, so I can do her little special attack, Alyssa there. But I can't use that laser attack because I've already used it. If I want to use that again, I'll have to defend, right? But when you're glowing and you use an attack, it's much more powerful. And see, we can use the troll ability here, and I'll troll him online. He gets all pissed off. And it is just like I cannot stress enough how nostalgic and fun this game is. Like if you're a fan of Chrono Trigger or Phantasy Star or old school Super Nintendo RPGs, you cannot go wrong with this. I mean, this is old school goodness at its absolute best.
No, it does. It looks good. It looks like as Eric likes to refer to, kind of that home cooking, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got a really cool aesthetic. And yeah, I'll put the camera back up here now. But yeah, Cosmic Star Heroine is really, really awesome. And I highly recommend, let me fix my fucking camera here. I highly recommend that you guys go out and support Zaboid if you can. Go grab the game, try it out. It's just I don't have enough good things to say about it. It's just great. It will be talked about for my game of the year this year.
That I hate to, I don't want to compare the two, but it sort of reminds you of like what Atlas published Citizens of Earth. Like it was that kind of style.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. It's just a great game. It is actually it's not just out on PS4, but it's also out on Steam. It's coming out on Vita as well.
Nice.
Okay.
And possibly from what I've heard, I've actually spoken to Robert. He is, Robert Boyd. He's one of the developers at Zaboid. They would love to do a Switch version as well. This game would be fucking right at home on Switch.
Oh my god, that game would be perfect on the Switch.
It would be right at home. But I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, Cosmic Star Heroine. I got a lot deeper in the weeds on that than I intended to. But I cannot sing the praises of Cosmic Star Heroine enough. In fact, I wrote a review on it, which is on our website now, and you can also find that review on OpenCritic.com. Only it's sad too. Like that's our review on OpenCritic is only one of 2 reviews.
Oh wow.
So we have the second review for Cosmic Star Heroine. Phenomenal fucking game. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of the Puyo Puyo Tetris demo on Switch, which is going to be fucking phenomenal. If you have a Switch, you're going to want to go pick that up next week.
Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah, but that's what I got going on, man. And I'm replaying Resident Evil 7. This is just a fucking eminently replayable game.
Absolutely. Yeah, can't talk. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a fucking great game. Yeah.
That is one of those games I can play over and over and over and not get tired of.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's still a game of the year contender for me.
That is my Resident Evil 7 in a year of Horizon and fucking Nier Automata. That right now is still the front runner for my game of the year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ethan! Yeah, I fucking love that game.
You know what? I still haven't played it, but speaking of what you were talking about, but speaking of what John was speaking about before, I'm a little fatigued too with all these super long open world or 80, 90 hour type games. Because like you said, after Horizon, when I fired up Zelda, I was like, I can't do this right now.
I need a break, man.
Yeah,
I need a break.
I'm trying to jump on some of those games like that won't take me that long, but I miss. I'm gonna pick up Resident Evil.
That's why I love the fucking Switch. Next week when Mario Kart comes out, I'll be able to play Mario Kart wherever the fuck I want, wherever I want. It's going to look better than the Wii U version. I know people have played it, and apparently it looks and runs just absolutely beautifully.
It was gorgeous.
And that's another reason I love the Switch is because it's got all these games on it. The Switch is perfect to pick up, play for a few hours, and put down. But yeah, life stops next weekend when Mario Kart comes out. I'm gonna be fucking all over that.
Yeah.
It's times like this. I wish I had a Switch.
You should get one. Yeah, if the opportunity provides itself, I cannot recommend this console enough.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it better than the Xbox One and the PS4, and I think it's going to outsell them both this fall.
Wow. Okay.
Tried to tell y'all before launch, man.
I
was singing the praises. Nobody wanted to back.
I just think it needs a third-party kick, that third-party support.
I don't think it does, though, because the Wii didn't have a whole lot of third-party support. Most, if not all, but most of the third-party games on the Wii were shovelware, right?
Mm.
But it's sold because of it's sold because of the Wii mode. It's sold to the extreme casual crowd because it was something new that the gaming industry hadn't seen before.
Wii Sports.
And then when the Wii U came out, not only was there a lot of confusion about is it a controller, is it a console, but also it was just there was nothing revolutionary about it. It had a gamepad, a really uncomfortable Fisher Price looking gamepad that you had a second screen on, but it wasn't doing anything revolutionary. It was just a console that played your games. And with the Switch, it is people love the next big thing, right? People love new tech. I don't know if you guys saw, but the Switch sold 900. It was 900 and 600,000. It was almost a million. It sold almost 1 million consoles. Its first month. It is
Segway.
It is Nintendo's fastest selling console of all time, and I don't see that changing. It is such a cool little piece of tech, and honestly, and you guys tell me what you think. Sam, I think you and I have had this conversation, but I think the drip feed of games like Mario Kart and ARMS and Splatoon leading up to Mario Odyssey, I think with all the little games sprinkled in between, I think that's going to be enough for people.
I think this year for certainly they're covered. I think the important thing is just it's going to live or die based off of what Nintendo does in the future.
E3 is going to be critical.
Oh yeah, they have to deliver at E3. They have to show what they're bringing in 2018, and that in 2018 what they're bringing in 2019. But they have a winning formula before them.
I hope you guys are ready for that Mario or for that Metroid.
Be able to play Skyrim on the go on that thing.
So apparently Skyrim's going to be coming out in the fall. Honestly, they're going to have a huge E3. You can expect Metroid to be announced at E3. You can expect the virtual console stuff to happen at E3. You're going to get a Xenoblade 2 date at E3. You'll get some Fire Emblem stuff.
The big one should be there.
Super Mario Odyssey will get a solid release date. It's just E3 is going to be huge for them, and it needs to be. But you guys can lock in that Metroid thing.
I believe it.
That is going to happen.
And you know what else they have going for them is that they can pull in a wealth of Wii U ports because so many people did not get a Wii U.
Bayonetta.
And that's
another thing, Sam. Yeah, there's a treasure trove of titles that are sitting on the Wii U.
I mean, give me a Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD double pack. That'd be phenomenal.
I have also heard through the grapevine, and I cannot tell you whether or not this is true, but it's just something I've heard, that the new Metroid game is not a Metroid Prime game.
Huh.
Think going back to their roots.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
I'm going to be
Nope,
honest
me either.
here. I never liked any of the Metroid games.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, I just
Oh my goodness. I'm just shocked to hear that. Yeah.
I just could never get into it. I used to, my friend would always play them, and he'd be like, "Oh, come sleep over. Let's play Metroid." And I'm like, "No, I'm avoiding you."
I was like, "Get out of here with that trash."
I'm an old school Metroid fan from way back. And honestly, whatever. If it's Prime, great. If it's not, if it's more traditional, like I heard possible third person Metroidvania game, that would be cool too. As long as it's not Federation Force 2, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, man? People hated on Other M, and I'm like, Other M was not that bad.
But people hated on Other M the same way people hated on Skyward. It wasn't a bad game. It was just a,
No. Yeah, exactly.
Skyward Sword is a terrible game. I'm like, no, it's not. Like,
No. Yeah.
it's not. You know, it's like it's like when people say Halo 5. Halo 5 is a bad game. No, it's not. It's just not what you expected, but it's not a bad game. Like, you know, you know, yeah, it's the same old. It's the same old formula.
Yeah. You know what I'll say about the Switch? You know what I'll say about the Switch also? Like, if Nintendo can really, truly nurture like more of that indie culture, you know, with it, that is very appealing to be able to just you know, pick up your console, take it off the dock, go ahead, get out of the house, take those great
Speaking
games
of
with you.
indie, one indie game that I saw at PAX East, and we're really good friends with them at Four Guys with Quarters, is Zoink Games. And Flippin' Death actually looks amazing. Like the artwork, the style. That's one thing I want to switch for is Flippin' Death. And then Blaster Master, like I saw Inferno play that. That looks pretty cool.
I've got that on my Switch. It is phenomenal.
Yeah. See, I like that. I like that game.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking up a Switch. I just haven't done so yet, but it's definitely coming up in the future.
You can expect the Switch to win every NPD from here for the rest of the year.
What?
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Scorpio makes that statement
If that happens now, right? Now that Neo Gaff Illuminati confirmed will be thrown at you. And you know, there's a big circle, a table of people getting together, and Gavin like, yeah, let's make Nintendo get the NPD. Yeah, every time, yeah.
You know,
them winning their launch NPD was an absolute, and they're going to do very well every month. But dude, come on,
they're going.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's not. Why is it ridiculous?
Dude, they sold less in a month than the Xbox One or the PS4 did in their launch days.
Sure.
Man, how much fun would that be, though?
But it also sold.
Oh, it would be hilarious.
It sold almost 1 million consoles in a month that is not a traditional console launch month.
But it also Zelda had a lot.
Zelda had a 113% attach rate. More people were buying Zelda in anticipation for the console than the console itself. I don't think you're factoring in just how much that fueled things.
But I'm telling you right now, I think you are going to see an NPD win for Switch for the rest of the year.
Well, would you mind giving me another game that had a 113% attach rate?
But the thing is that I don't think a lot of those. Like, I suggest you go on eBay right now and look at how many like Master System swords and Shake a Slate cases are on eBay right now. A lot of those people weren't buying it to play the game. People were buying them because those editions are not going to be made again, and they want to sell the cases. They want to sell the Master Sword statues. So that, in my opinion, that's what a lot of that is.
Okay, so to a degree, it's still a ludicrously high attach rate above practically any other game I can think of this gen.
Absolutely.
Since
I mean, one could argue that it's the greatest launch game of all time. I don't know if that's true or not, but you could certainly argue it. But I mean, I certainly don't see the PlayStation beating out the Switch for the rest of the year.
You know, I think I'm gonna disagree with you on that because, and I say this because we know Scorpio is coming out for this holiday season, right? So people are going to be competing with their wallets for the kids, like for Scorpio or PS4 Pro. And I think with Scorpio launching, if the price does hit at the $399, it's going to throw the game industry into a frenzy, and everybody's going to go for that Scorpio.
Well, apparently the price got leaked today. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I heard it's fake.
It is. That's why I said apparently. But I mean, I have heard from several people that I cannot name right now, but Sam knows what I'm talking about, that it is going to come in at $499. Like expect $499, and that's a good price for the Scorpio.
That's a really good
For the
price.
tech they're shoving in there, that's a steal. That's fine.
And from what I've been told, $499 is the absolute lowest they can go, because if they go lower than that, they will be taking a massive loss on the console.
But now PS4 Pro is going to have to do something to incentivize themselves now for the families to want to buy that under the tree instead of Scorpio. And where does that leave Switch, like in the trash can?
Honestly, I mean, think about it. Like if you're a parent, right, and your 10-year-old says, "I want a video game system," right? What are you going to get him? Are you going to get him are you going to spend $499 on a console that he can't take anywhere? Are you going to spend $399 on a console that he can't take anywhere? Or are you going to spend $299 on a console he can take on plane rides, on road trips? He can play it on the way to school. He can take his games wherever he wants. I mean, this is what kids are going to want. Well, this is what kids are going to be asking for.
I hate to say this, but when my daughter was 10 and a half, 11, right? You know what she said? She couldn't wait to play Grand Theft Auto on the Nintendo DS because all her friends at school were talking about it. And then she gets the Nintendo DS, and my mom goes out and buys Grand Theft Auto, not knowing like what's going on in the game.
I was gonna say, like, what are you doing letting your daughter play Grand Theft Auto?
She conned my mom into it.
Come in there, you're like, your daughter's like slapping hookers around. Bitch doesn't have my money.
And then she comes home after that, and she's like, I can't wait to get a 360 so I can kill people on Grand Theft Auto. Like literally right after, I'm like, oh my god, here we go.
Wow. Yeah, I will say,
everybody in this podcast can be eating a lot of crow when I'm right.
John, what kind of bet do you want? Just for Scorpio launch month alone. That alone makes your argument invalid. So what kind of bet do you want?
Scorpio is not going to, Xbox is not going to win the NPD. The NPD is the month the Scorpio comes out.
Dude.
I don't believe they will.
Come on.
I don't. Nope. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. And it's nothing against Xbox. But right, yeah. Pony. But if the Scorpio comes in at $499, I am 99.9% confident it will. I believe it will sell better to the core Xbox crowd than the PS4 Pro did to the core Sony crowd. But this is not a machine that is aimed at the mass market at all. At all. This is not going to sell to anybody outside of the core market, like guys like Clowns or Sam. Like I know you guys will grab Scorpios, and you should buy Scorpios. But the base model and the one that Microsoft is going to want to sell more of is going to be the Xbox One Slim. That is still going to be that. But we are now, what is this? This is year 4. This fall we'll be entering year 4 of the current console generation, and this is about the time things start to slow down. If you don't already have an Xbox, and I just for individuals who have an Xbox One S and don't have a 1080 or an HD or a 4K television, like they're probably not going to go get a Scorpio, because just like if you don't have it's the same reason that you shouldn't grab a PS4 Pro. Right, there's like there are benefits, but they're so minimal that it's not worth it. It's not worth your money or your time if you don't have a 4K HDR television. It's the same reason. I just $499 is a great deal, as we said, for what you're getting in the box, but $499 is $499, and parents are not going to spend $499 and then have to spend an extra whatever on games. When they can go spend $299 on a Switch and take that extra $200, $300, that extra $200 and go buy a shitload of Switch games. And you know that Sony, at the same time, they're going to have the Destiny thing going on. They're going to have the Battlefront thing going on.
Star Wars.
There's going to, Battlefront. There's going to be a massive marketing push on that, and you know they are going to push the price of the PS4 Pro down in order to combat it. I just don't see. I don't see Microsoft winning the NPDs that month.
You are forgetting.
You gotta remember that they will mark the price down of the original Xbox, and all those numbers are together. So regardless of what Scorpio is priced at, they can bundle Xbox One S with 2 games like they've done in the past, and that thing will fly off shelves.
I don't know if it'll fly off the shelves, but
the other thing that you're forgetting too is that this is the first time that Xbox has really stuck their foot into, markets outside of North America. Like they're going into Europe and they're going into Japan, they're going into Asia. They already got Eurogamer praising them. They got Digital Foundry praising them. They got JRPGs that want to be on Xbox Scorpio. So, I mean, this is a bigger push than what we've seen with the initial launch of the Xbox One.
That's a great point. And then also on top of that, I think, John, I get what you're saying, absolutely, in terms of this being a hardcore device, but I really do think you are slightly underestimating the hype this device has behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, I legitimately know people. I know PC Master Race, they bleed circuits type people who have told me that if there is no inkling of Red Dead Redemption 2 coming to PC, that they will grab Scorpio because they want to play it. Just like that.
No, and that's fine. But I mean, this is all anecdotal, right? Like I could say the same.
Of course it is.
I could say the same thing about my brother. My brother's an Xbox guy, and I'm like, "Are you getting a Scorpio?" And he says, "No." And I'm like, "Why not?" And he says, "Well, because I don't give a." He says, "I paid X amount of dollars for my Xbox One Slim. I'm not going to go out and spend $499 on graphics that look a little bit better when I can just take that $499 and spend it on a shitload of games." And he's a hardcore gamer, and he's an Xbox guy. And the bitch of it is that he's got a 4K television. He still doesn't want one.
The other thing, too, that you should factor into this is that we know when it comes to marketing, right now under Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg and those guys, they know how to push sales like they did with the Xbox One S. They lowered the price so dramatically that it kicked off sales, and everybody else, when the sales were ending, were like, "Oh, I got to get one too because my friends got one." So Black Friday is going to be coming up into this holiday season as well, and if Scorpio's out by Black Friday, expect a marketing blitz.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to figure, the Scorpio is going to launch right on top of Black Friday, and you generally don't see markdowns for tech that is released that same month. I mean, it's counterproductive, because then people are like, well, why would I like if it launches November 14th, right, which is when I think it's going to launch. That second week of November. Why would I go out and buy one if there's going to be a huge markdown on it 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later? Like, why would I bother to go buy one?
There were markdowns on the Pro for Black Friday, just like that, and game bundle tie-ins.
Yeah, but that's because I don't think the Pro is selling all that great. And I don't think that. I don't know. It's something. I just don't see it happening. I think it's going to sell fine. I'm not saying it's going to sell poorly, but I don't think it's going to win the NPD. I think a compelling Switch bundle with like Mario, with Super Mario Odyssey, I think that's going to fucking. I don't think anything's gonna be able to stand against that. I don't.
The only way that the Switch
got delayed though, I thought it's not coming out till next year.
No, that's coming out this year. I guarantee you, Mario Odyssey comes out this year.
Go ahead.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say the only way that Switch wins the NPD the same month that Scorpio comes out is if the new Pokemon game comes out the same time. That's the only way. Other than that, it's a wrap.
No,
they have to have Switches on the shelf and ready to go if the Pokemon game releases.
We'll talk again come November.
All right, I'll be ready, man.
Dude,
technically, we'll talk again come December because we're not going to know till December.
Yeah.
I've been the biggest hype man for the Switch. I'd rather die for the Switch, but I ain't gonna be that silly and say that it's
Y'all wait. You guys can laugh.
All right, let's move on. But John, hit me up in DMs.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hit you up in DMs. I don't want to talk to you.
I just want to say something real quick. Seamus Blackley made a comment on the whole Scorpio thing, and he said that and as we're talking about NPDs, we're talking about the holiday season where a lot of people go out and buy consoles. I think we're at a point now where the casuals are starting to buy more consoles or buy next gen consoles. And he said, he's like, a casual consumer who's looking to buy a game console isn't going to go into Best Buy and say, I want the machine that gives me native 4K at 60 frames a second. Just not going to happen.
And yet that report that I linked in earlier suggests otherwise based off of last year's sales traffic.
You want to hear something funny, by the way? Like, I was walking just the other day, but like past this cement mixer truck, and it had like a big, huge, giant scorpion as its logo. And I leaned over to the driver's stand and said, I went Scorpio. And I just kept on walking.
Yeah, but you got to remember something, Sam. Like, those things don't matter to the casual consumer base.
But that was the casual consumer base. That's what that sales was indicating. It doesn't get more casual than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to just historic numbers, like just what we've seen historically from the industry. That the casual consumer goes out, they look for deals.
Oh God! Sorry, go ahead.
What were you saying, John?
No, I was just gonna say Inferno in chat. He said if Scorpio was in lower supply, I thought he said if Scorpio was in the water supply. And I'm like, Scorpio,
that's the market.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like it would be genius. Like there's something in the water. Like there's a fucking Scorpio symbol. Like I misread that for a minute. I was like, what the fuck is water supply?
Yeah, but no, I'll just go back just historically. If you look at historically how consumers have bought consoles, especially at this point in the console generation, they're going for deals. That's why you see all those big bundles. That's why you see the price drops. They're not going in saying, "Hey, I want a console that does 4K 60 frames a second." There might be some individuals that do that. The majority of the people, the majority of the casual consumer base that's ready to buy a next gen console, they're going to be buying deals.
They wait. That's exactly why they wait for Black Friday.
Exactly.
They want the best deal for their buck.
I just want to go to the chat real quick because I think you might have missed this comment that Inferno brought up, and it's a very good point. And it's in reference to what Megan was saying, is that the difference is that kids aren't asking for the Switch. Kids are asking for the Xbox and PS4. The ones asking for the Switch are people our own ages. So, if you've got like 3 kids at home or 2 kids at home, and they're going to play with their friends at school, it's going to be on the PS4 or the Scorpio, or even the Xbox One S.
I mean, I think I could see that point, but I also know, and again, I mean, this is just I have a 7-year-old, and I can tell you that all his friends are talking about the Switch. Like, he's the coolest kid in class right now because he's got a Nintendo Switch, and all his friends want one because they see him go out. He's playing Zelda on it. They've seen Zelda. They like, to them, it's like, oh my God. And then when they've seen him, when he's brought him back home. And John, you touched about like the great thing about the Switch is that when you dock it, it's like it's instantaneous.
It's literally a matter of 1 second.
What's that?
They said it's literally a matter of a second.
No, it is. And so I mean, I think depending on the age group. I mean, if you're talking, 11-year-olds, maybe. I don't know. I mean, maybe they want PS4, Xbox over Switch, but I know that just my circle, for whatever it's worth, my 7-year-old, all the kids in his class are talking about Nintendo Switch now.
Well, also, I'm going to say Nintendo is actually advertising this more aggressively than they ever did Wii U. I mean, they did
commercials.
They went aggressive with the Wii, and then with the Wii U, they assumed everybody would get it and understand it because the Wii was so. Whatever. But yeah, I'm seeing like commercials like on HGTV, 10 o'clock at night, Switch commercials. So it's like, that didn't happen with the Wii U until it was too late. And then they started doing commercials, but it was too late at that point. So they're trying, at least on that front.
I mean, we also got to remember that Nintendo is not the smartest bunch when it comes to marketing and it comes to supply and demand. Look what they did with the NES Mini Classic. I mean, they dropped that thing like a hot potato. And the speculation, is it because it got hacked? Is it because Nintendo was insulted that they got hacked? And Nintendo's now offering money to hackers to bypass the Switch's firmware and send them the details on it because the Switch's firmware has already been hacked. So, I mean, there's so many things that Nintendo does that's wrong. They're probably going to stab themselves in the foot with this.
Well, it's going to be an interesting holiday season. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But, John, I don't agree with your assertion that it's going to take NPD. I don't see that. I just don't see it.
We'll see.
I'll gladly eat crow if that happens. I think I think we all will.
I'll spoon feed it to you.
Oh shit! Yeah.
What happens if you're wrong?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I don't know. I don't know if I want that.
No,
No, you
Colonel
want it.
Sanders, you're wrong. Mama's right.
You want it.
Eat that crow. Eat it.
So I've got to go in about 5 or 10 minutes, man. Because I've got to be up at 5 in the morning. Did you want to get into the media bias stuff or?
Yeah, real quick. Let's jump into that since you got to go, John.
Yeah,
So
I got a
media
lot of strong
bias.
feelings.
What's that? So
I said I've got some feelings on this.
yeah. So media bias. It keeps. It's. I've been seeing this more on my timeline the last couple of days. A lot of that I think has to do. I think with what Jason Schreier said about the whole digital foundry thing. I don't know. I really don't. Personally, I don't think it exists only because, I've read, I try to read a lot of the articles a lot of these journalists put out. I understand that there's a difference between preference and biased. I also understand last console generation on the Sony side, it was the Sony fanboy saying that the media was biased. I mean, if you Google it, you can go back, you can pull up articles from 2008. And G4 had articles about is the media biased against Sony. But I'll kick it out to you guys, John, since you got to go. What are your thoughts about it? Does it exist? I mean, is this a real thing, or is this just kind of a,
So here's the deal, right? Like, not to toot my own horn, but I have a media badge, right? Like, I am now part of the gaming media, and I have I have conversations in DM with actual journalists. Like, we talk. I'm friends with a lot of these people now. There is no massive conspiracy against any one console. I got into an argument with somebody a while back, and they said, "Well, I can prove to you right now the media bias, John." I said, "Okay, well let's hear it, there, fucking Perry Mason. Tell me about the media bias. What have you uncovered?" And he says, "Well, if he says, and like." He's talking like he just fucking found the fucking lost fleet of Marco Polo. He's like, well, I went to Metacritic, and what I noticed was that all the multi-platform games, all the reviews, they're all reviewing the PlayStation version and not the Xbox version. And then he goes, and then he's like, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And he says, well, they're playing the PlayStation 4 version of the game. I said, you understand that's because PlayStation 4 is the market leader. Go back and look at reviews of Red Dead Redemption for Xbox 360. I think there's like 60 and there's like 20 for the PS3 version because the Xbox 360 at that point was the market leader. So as the market leader, yes, you are going to see more. You are going to see more articles and coverage about PlayStation 4 anything because there are 60 million odd something PS4s in the wild and like 28 million Xbox Ones. I'm talking worldwide. I mean, the PS4 has over 50% market share worldwide. So yes, there are going to be more articles about the PS4. That doesn't mean that there's some kind of horrendous media bias. It doesn't mean that there's an agenda to elevate Sony and to kick Microsoft in the teeth. That would not be conducive to a healthy industry. And in order for gaming journalism to thrive, in order for gaming journalists to have jobs, there needs to be a healthy gaming industry. So if there were some kind of media conspiracy where people were, giving favorable promotion to Sony and just kicking Microsoft in the teeth due to bias or due to some sense of we've got to help prop Sony up, then that would be bad for journalists, and journalists know that. So this is just it's not something that exists, and it's always like these things are fluid, right? Like for years and years and years, you guys know that among certain people in the Xbox tribe, Digital Foundry was the devil, right? They were the devil. They were all biased towards Sony. It was all Sony bias, like they don't like Xbox games. They don't know what they're talking about, which is fucking laughable because nobody knows what they're talking about but in Digital Foundry. And then they had a very favorable Scorpio presentation. They were really high on it. It sounds like a great fucking console. And now all of a sudden you see the roles flip. Now all the PS4 fanboys who were once trumpeting Digital Foundry are like, oh, they're fucking biased towards Xbox. And all the Xbox fanboys are like, yeah, Digital Foundry knows what the fuck they're talking about. I can't believe we would question them. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, you just spent 3 years literally shitting in Digital Foundry's mouth. Shitting in their fucking mouth. And now you're like, Digital Foundry, the fucking experts in their field, talking about that hot Scorpio shit, and anybody who says they don't know what they're talking about is just a fucking idiot. And I'm like, and the PS4 fanboys are doing the exact opposite now, where like a month ago they were like, oh, Digital Foundry, put fucking, these two games side to side and we got better grass, motherfuckers, our grass moves faster. You guys remember Grassgate?
Yep.
And our fucking grass is more lush. And now they're like, yeah, well, you know what? Fucking Phil Spencer probably has a small dick, okay? Because fucking Digital Foundry is biased, and obviously Phil Spencer's giving him fucking hand jobs and shit, to get that good coverage for the Scorpio. And this is this is the nature. But again, this all goes back to the nature of fanboyism and purchase validation. And I've always said that at the root of every fanboy is a desperate need for validation. They need their purchase validated. Whether or not it's an Xbox fanboy or a Sony fanboy, they need that, they need to be told I made the right decision and I bought the right console and I love my console. I think half these fanboys don't really love their consoles. They just they cannot. It's like I bought it, so I have to love it. Even though I might not be happy with some of the decisions they're making, I bought it, so I've got to represent it, man. So yeah, I fucking love it. I love it, and yeah.
John, I just want to interject real quick on some things that you said. I do think I wouldn't say the whole media is biased, right? But I do think that there's certain journalists that have a favoritism or a preference, right? And I think it shows with the way they write. Now, as a journalist, when you work at like IGN or Kotaku or Polygon, you should have a choice to play on any system you want, right? Because they should probably have every system, I would imagine.
They all do.
I'm sure
they all have it.
So why does it have to be on the most sold console or market leader? It doesn't really make sense. It's just like a preference. And the other thing is, you could see that there is some sort of, I don't know if the right word is biasm, but there's flip-flopping in the media constantly. Because if you look at Kotaku, one of their latest articles recently, it was talking about how cockroaches love the PS4. Like all of a sudden, because Scorpio's announced, right? So as an Xbox fan, and I still have a PS4, and I like my PS4, but I prefer to play an Xbox, I could look at this Kotaku article and I could tell myself, wow, this is insane. You're a media company, you're going to write about cockroaches hanging out on a PS4 all of a sudden?
I thought it was kind of funny, actually.
I thought it was a funny article.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
I can't take it serious because I think Kotaku's flipping sides because Scorpio's coming out and they've already been shunned before by Microsoft. But I'm an Xbox fan and I'm saying this.
But here's the thing. Can I interject here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have my issues with Kotaku, which I don't want to bring up here, but that's not that. They're just reporting on the news when it comes to that. There are other things you could dig into, but that's not an issue. To clarify the review code situation, the review code is what the publisher gives you.
Yeah.
As a journalist who reviews games every single week and gets review codes every single week, you get what they hand to you, and you rarely, if ever, have a say in the matter.
That's right.
Oftentimes, with a lot of bigger publishers, and granted, I'm coming from a slightly smaller outlet, but nonetheless, you're generally just happy that they gave it to you.
Yeah,
and that's the end.
And Sam, you can vouch for that. I mean, you can back this up because I mean, we get our review codes too, and I can tell you right now, they are always going to skew towards whichever console there is more of in the wild, because that's how you reach the most people, right? There are 60 million something on PS4 owners in the world as opposed to 28 million Xbox One owners, and the roles were reversed last gen when the Xbox 360 was vastly outpacing the PS3. People were getting Xbox 360 review codes because they were the market leader, and that is the biggest. The 360 market was the biggest market.
And remember,
with large publishers. Now, I will say, like with indies, oftentimes you will get to choose with them. A lot of them, if they're a multi-platform indie, they'll say, hey, do you want the Steam code? Do you want the Xbox code? Do you want the PlayStation?
because they just want you to play their fucking game.
Exactly. They just want the game out there, so they don't care. Exactly.
Yeah,
but
it depends on who publishes it too. Though.
I gotta disagree on that because I think that if you're a bigger media company, even like a newspaper, you could tell them, hey, we have 13 Xbox One reviewers right now and maybe 24 PS4 reviewers available or whatever. And they can specify what code they need on what system. And, we're smaller outlets too, 4 guys with quarters, right? But we've always had the option to request, do we want a PS4? Do we want Vita? Do we want Xbox One? And no publisher has ever given us a hard time or said they were out.
See, like most of these outlets, like I know if you guys, like I know I got IGN, for example. They don't give a shit. I mean, it's not that they prefer PS4 codes. It's not that they prefer Xbox One codes. So my throat's a little dry. But they just don't care. They just want to play the game. And so they don't say, well, like none of these outlets have a quota as in like, okay, we've got to review, we've got 13 games to review this month, right? We need seven of them to be Xbox games, and we need 6 of them to be PS4 games. That's not the way it works. These guys have so many fucking. I mean, these guys are busy as fuck, and they have so many review codes coming in that they don't have time to say. I mean, these guys don't have time to reach out to pubs and say, "Hey, give us the PS4 code instead of the Xbox One code for this."
Exactly. We're tearing our hair out trying to figure out how we're going to get everything done.
I mean, it is. I mean, when you're working for an outlet, I mean, it is. People have this idea that for example, the journals will reach out to pubs and they'll say, hey, can we get a review code for this? No, you don't request. You were just sent review codes. You don't ask for them. Not if you're IGN or GameSpot or Game Informer or even Real Games Media. These you just review codes, as Sam will tell you, just pop up in your inbox one day. They're like, here you go. Here's your review codes. And sometimes they will send multiple codes for multiple people in the office, so multiple people can play them. Sometimes there'll be a few PS4 codes, sometimes there'll be a few Xbox codes. But honestly, just like Sam said, these come from the publishers, and the publishers, if it's a multi-platform game, they don't give a flying fuck what platform you're playing it on. They really don't. Even when it comes to marketing. They don't give a shit what platform you're playing it on because you're playing their game, and it's just that's the way it works. And are there journalists who have preferences? Of course there are. I mean, we're human beings. We all have preferences. I prefer my PS4 to the Xbox One. I don't own an Xbox One, but it's not because I hate Xbox. It's because there are so many fucking games to play. I don't have time for 50 billion consoles floating around my man cave here. But yeah, and that's just the way it is. It has nothing to do with like a media bias or like flip flopping. I mean, people report the news, and some days there's good PS4 news, and some days there's good Xbox One news, and some days there's bad news for these consoles. And I feel like on the days where there's good PS4 news and bad Xbox One news, if you report the bad Xbox One news, people say, "Oh, you're biased," and then the next day there's good Xbox One news, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're just trying to get back into Xbox's good graces." But that's just Sam. I'm sure you agree. That's the fluid nature of journalism.
You get trolls. You get trolls all the time, but
it's just.
Here's the thing. You have individuals who I am sure, like I know for a fact that there are certain individuals who do have an edge. Yes, absolutely. Maybe even a negative one. But outlets, that's ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the last thing I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, outlets don't have. Outlets don't have. No.
At the end of the day, outlets are about the green paper that comes to the building.
Yeah, money.
Exactly.
Yep.
How many times can they get someone to click on the article and read it?
Yep.
Whether it's positive, negative, or whatever the case is.
Yep.
If people are commenting and that generates more traffic, that's all they care about.
Which again is why there are more PS4 articles than there are Xbox One articles, because there are more PS4s. So if you have a crowd of people that is bigger than another crowd, you're going to get more clicks if you write about that thing. If the Xbox One were more populous than the PS4, there would be more Xbox One articles because they would be the market leader, and there would be more Xbox One owners. So therefore, you're going to write more Xbox One owners.
And if you have a huge outlet, if you have to keep the lights on, pay a lot of people, you're going to go for the low-hanging fruit, and there's a lot of it.
That's right.
There's a lot of easily butthurt people, that you can target.
The low-hanging fruit of the PS4 cockroaches from
that was like,
I read that article. I was like,
funny article though. That actually
but the first thing that came to my mind was clean your goddamn house.
I know that's what I was And of course, I share a story. Like I got a wireless router from Verizon once that was like in a box. It was boxed and it was bubble wrapped, and there was like dead roaches inside of it. And I'm like, nice.
Oh man.
The thing is, I feel like we're getting to a point where we can't even report news stories without people screaming about bias. Like, for example, there are a bunch of fanboys, a bunch of PS4 fanboys who were like, "Oh, you're fucking shitting all over PS4, talking about it's the console that cockroaches love." And and there was a bunch of Xbox fanboys who were like, "Haha, PS4, the cockroach, it's only good for the roaches." But if you flip it, if you reverse the roles, and you say, and there's an article that said, "Oh, well, cockroaches love the Xbox One," there'd be people who's like, "Fucking media bias bullshit, talking about fucking cockroaches and fucking vermin loving the Xbox One," and then all those PS4 fanboys, you'd be like, "Ha ha ha, my gay porn is validated."
Oh God! Don't remind me.
And so, like. You are always going to get those people who you are never going to satisfy, right? Like there are people, I firmly believe, who will always be in this camp of, this site hates PS4 or this site hates Xbox One. But really, I mean, it's just not the case, and it doesn't hold water.
Well, John, real quick, before you leave, I mean, you remember, the whole argument against Digital Foundry this console gen. If you go back last console gen, what was Digital Foundry reporting on in terms of multiplats? That the 360 version of all multiplats played better.
They look better.
PlayStation 3 counterparts.
They ran better. And it's just, which is why, again, you see more, and I love the article, or not the article, but I love the argument people make when they say, the Xbox One exclusives are not reviewed as well as PS4 exclusives. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not really true. I mean, look at the fucking Order, or like the Order 1886 and Knack and Killzone, and
they have the same average across Metacritic.
They have the exact same average across Metacritic. But somebody said, well, I know the media is biased, John. I'm like, well, how do you know the media is biased? Because fucking Halo 5 got an 84 Metacritic and Bloodborne got a 93, and I'm like, okay, well, what if Bloodborne is just objectively a better game? And this guy was like, that fucking stupid gay Japanese shit is not better than Halo. And I'm
here's the thing. Like, there's way too much attention attached to scores as well. I mean, I got news for you. Guess what? Here's the thing. Like, Wolfenstein, The New Order, I dare you to find someone who doesn't like that game.
I can't fucking believe it. That's a 79 Metacritic.
That's a 79 Metacritic. Exactly.
Damn,
Until Dawn.
One of my favorite.
Universally loved PlayStation game in the high 70s. I don't remember what it is, but it's in the high 70s. Metal Gear Solid 5. Most people do not like it. You got your people out there who love it.
Metacritic.
That is a 95, second highest reviewed game this gen. That's ridiculous. I do, honest to God, if there's an example of media bias anywhere you ever wanted to put something at, that would be it. And that still isn't media bias, because people are people and they have opinions. And I'm getting bloody sick of this.
If you were to, honestly, if there's a fucking console that I feel gets more favoritism from anybody, it's fucking Nintendo. Look at Zelda. Breath of the Wild has. I loved Breath of the Wild, but it has some glaring flaws that were glossed over by everybody, and I'm like, this game is not a 97.
So you think Nintendo benefits from a little bit of nostalgia, though?
A little bit, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't really have any competitors either, if you think about it.
Well, it's like the durability system in Breath of the Wild is the fucking worst I've ever encountered. Every Smith in Hyrule should be fucking fired. Every Smith in Hyrule needs to lose their fucking job.
Yep.
Because I found a giant glowing flaming broadsword, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have this thing forever. And 5 minutes later, I broke it on a fucking bokoblin shield, and I was like, I was like, do these blacksmiths even fucking try?
No, you go to Crazy Randy's Blazing Sword Emporium.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how? Like, how does my bow break? It's a fucking bow. Like, why does my bow have like? So I just don't feel like Zelda was the place for even the Master Sword. Like, if you whack regular enemies with it enough, like it's got to recharge for 10 fucking minutes. And I'm like, God, even the fucking Master Sword breaks. Like, so but all of this was glossed over in reviews. Like, people were like, oh, it helps encourage weapon diversity and forces you to. I'm like, what if I just want to pick a weapon and stick with it?
Right.
Like what if I don't want to constantly be switching weapons? But I don't feel. I feel like these issues were just kind of shoved aside because it's Zelda and it's going to get a good review.
Well, it's also because Nintendo creates that hunger vacuum, right? Like, where they know they have a good IP and they make people wait so long for the next great sequel to their IP or next great thing in their IP. I mean, if Xbox didn't produce Halo for like a new one for like 5 years, I'm sure it would get high ratings because of nostalgia.
Well, it's still got high ratings given the trending of Metacritic down average, but that's another conversation altogether. I don't want to get into.
Yeah, no, that's a much longer conversation as to whether or not reviewers are harsher this gen. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the whole bias part of it. There are definitely people out there who know how to like push buttons. There's a difference between pushing buttons and actually being straight up biased.
Oh, sure.
You know what I'm saying? But I just think personally, like, it's lost on me because I read something from somebody. If they kind of went a certain way, I go, okay. And I keep moving on and play a game or do whatever I'm going to do. It doesn't affect what I buy, how I buy it, because I don't sit here having any questions about what I buy. If I don't like a product, it's gone.
See, I just think that a lot of journalists are moving towards clickbait, tabloid style articles.
Oh yeah, but
clickbait is a definite issue. Clickbait is something else entirely. Yes.
Well,
there's definitely clickbait. There's definitely clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait with a tabloid article. I mean, it happens all the time on Twitter. You see links to stuff, and it has nothing to do with the title says. Right.
No, I would not argue that there's definitely clickbait. I'm looking at the people that have a meltdown because of it. That's where, like, I think what John's kind of getting at is, like, you need your shoulders rubbed, you need validation, you need all this other stuff. And it's like, if you have faith in the product that you bought and you love it, it doesn't matter what someone says about it.
Yeah, well, it's like I know people who loved the Order 1886. They're like, this is my game of the year.
Anchor?
And
Anchorman.
Who am I to tell you otherwise?
Mm-hmm.
People love Killzone Shadowfall. I thought it was hot garbage. But people say, like, this is the fucking greatest first-person shooter of all time. Who am I to tell you?
It could be. His head just wasn't screwed on just right.
I mean, yeah.
But if you go into these things with shaky legs like Bambi, and I can push you over, then that's all you do.
I mean, which is why, look, you I tell people, take my reviews with a grain of salt because you may not agree with me, and it's just, it's just my opinion.
Right.
It's just my opinion.
That's what people have to take them as, man. It's just an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people flipped the fuck out when I gave Final Fantasy 15 a perfect score. And
I flipped out.
People were like, John, it's the fucking worst Final Fantasy game since whenever. And I'm like, okay. Thank you for that stirring input. Like, I mean, I think it's the best Final Fantasy game since Final Fantasy VI. And
he hates Final Fantasy 15.
Well, John, you're wrong. And I'm like, okay, maybe. I mean, thanks. Like, I mean, it's, have you played it? No. Oh. Okay.
That's always the best part, right?
Yeah. It's like what Final Fantasy 15 is stupid. It's about 4 gay bros, and I'm like, okay, have you played it? No. Oh. Okay. In the same vein, people, people like I got, because our articles pop up on N4G, and like you should see some of the comments, right? Like I gave For Honor and
that's because it's N4G.
Yeah, but I gave For Honor a fucking an 8 out of 10, which is a 4 out of 5 stars, and people were like, "Oh, you're fucking validating shitty, fucking microtransactions," and I'm like, I'm reviewing the game. I'm not reviewing their fucking financials, okay? Like I like Jesus, and they're like, and the one guy was like, how much did fucking Ubisoft pay for this? I'm like, nobody knows who the fuck we are, so not much. But
they overpaid whatever they paid.
Although I should start leading with SDGC as seen on IGN and Eurogamer, because technically we were seen on IGN and Eurogamer. But anyway, I gotta go, guys. I gotta get to bed. I gotta be up at 9 o'clock, or not 9 o'clock. I've got to be up at 5 to be somewhere at 9. But always a pleasure seeing you, gentlemen. Clowns, always a pleasure, my man.
Yep.
And see all you motherfuckers later. Oh, I probably need to do some walking or something, right, before I leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. So we'll answer Tipsy Gamer in the chat. Tipsy says, "Hey, do you guys think Scorpio get a $3.99 price tag?" Well, Tipsy, no, I don't think so. I think Xbox Scorpio will probably come in at $4.99, according to what I've heard. I highly doubt it'll come in anywhere below that. But it would be nice if it did. Okay, see you guys later.
All right, John, man. See you later, bro.
Have a good one, man.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, before we move off the media bias thing, I'm all for people having pride in what products that they like, because life is hard enough, so we have escapism, and we take joy in the things that entertain us, right? So if someone writes an article about something you really don't agree with it, hit them up. Say, look, man, I don't agree with what you said, but we could have a dialogue. But this melting down, anger, you gotta go see a therapist, man.
Yeah, tagging 25 people to the article. You know what I mean? You can attack the writer.
I'm like, get him, stone him. It's I don't know, man. Look, I kind of look at it like this. If someone says something about Xbox or PlayStation and I don't agree with it, and they're really going down a path, I'm just like, okay. And if they keep going down that path, guess what I do? I unfollow or I don't roll with them.
Mute is such a lovely button.
Even beyond mute, it's I unfollow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people that should be highly offended and write a letter or have a talk are the people that actually put their life into this product. I'm just a consumer. Yeah, I might get mad, but I'm not going to melt down. I don't know. There's just other stuff in life for me to really put that anger and aggression towards. Geico, they can catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
somebody's fucking you over. Geico's fucking you over.
Eric, what's interesting, man?
IGN isn't screwing me over.
You know what's interesting? We could definitely take a lot of. I should say certain elements in the community can definitely take a lot of that energy they put into that and direct it towards, our developers putting out quality content.
Exactly.
Are they getting greedy with, with things like, downloadable content, season passes? That's the stuff that people should really be focusing on.
We may get mad, but typically we give them passes because hey, it's a game at the end of the day, and we make concessions. I'm just going to pick on Mass Effect. I haven't played it. I just hear what everybody's saying about it. So let's just take it as an example. If you're that pissed about it, people were about the ending of Mass Effect 3, they actually got change done because people took it to that. They took it to, BioWare. This one is sort of okay, well, we've been waiting for a Mass Effect. It is what it is. It's not the worst. And you kind of let it ride. But IGN comes out and they say something about it. And it's oh, kill them.
Yeah.
IGN is trying to pay the bills, and they know, hey, there's a subset of people out there, right? We can hit it. And sadly, you're looking for journalistic integrity in something. Don't look for it in game writing. We need journalistic integrity and people who are talking about, politics, medical, the things that matter to us most in life. Game journalism, that's entertainment, and that's the problem. We value entertainment more than anything. But it's ridiculous. I'm not going to sit here melting down because so-and-so wrote something. I just won't follow it if it really got me that hot and bothered, which it really doesn't when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm just saying.
At the end of the day, we all have to think about these executives from Xbox, from Sony. They're all friends with each other at the end of the day. Exactly. They don't sit there in the conference room and call each other and be like, man, I'm so mad at PS4 because you got that exclusive. You guys suck, and I hope you guys lose the NPD this week. No.
Right.
They're businesses. They compete on a professional level, but they don't go around and hate on each other and
Exactly.
trip Yoshida in the hallway just because.
Right. And clowns, they're the ones that should be mad because this is their product. These are the things that they're putting out there on the line, right? Let's put it like this. If Phil can sit next to Ryan McCaffrey and let him interview him without punching him in the face, something should be said about that. Like, Phil's obviously not pissed. He took the time because Phil knows there's a bigger picture. Maybe he doesn't agree with everything Ryan says, but at the end of the day, it's a game console, it's a business.
Yep.
You know, and here's the thing. It's not for me to be hot and pissed off about it. It's for Microsoft, if they stumble, to fix it.
That's right.
And it's for Sony to fix it, which, you know, come on. The IGNs of the world, the Kotakus of the world, sadly, yeah, they're going to go down the clickbait route. But they know people are going to go for it. It's like easy fishing.
Well, they're business, you know. I think that we touch upon that.
That's
Fishing with
cash.
Fishing with dynamite.
That's right.
Yeah, and that business model's tough. It's challenging, you know.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, why don't we transition to our last topic of the night? That was shit. I'm drawing blanks now. This is what happens when I drink Miller Lite. It's a problem. Hold on a sec here, guys. I'm sorry. My wife's texting me something real quick. Hold on. Okay, my wife wants me to bring her a drink. Seriously?
And then, isn't that like women? Like, you're down talking video games and shit.
You know what I'm talking about.
They're thirsty. They're thirsty.
Yeah. Can you bring me a drink? How about you use those 2 legs God gave you and walk downstairs? Let me not say that out loud.
It's on tape.
It's public record now, right?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. So we talked about Persona 5 earlier in the evening, and I wanted to talk about JRPGs because, at least for me, they've really. I mean, coming off of Final Fantasy 15 late last year, now Persona 5. For me, they have at least I'm back into them again, and it's been for me. It's been a long time since I've even really cared to dabble in a JRPG. I've been focused more, and when it comes to RPGs, more in the Western style open world action RPGs, the Skyrims, or anything Bethesda really. And so, do you guys feel like JRPGs are kind of coming back now? I mean, B-Money, I know you're a big JRPG fan. You may think, no, they never left. They never went anywhere. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Clown, since you're the guest this evening, let's get your thoughts on this, man.
To be honest with you, I think that there's a lot of JRPG fans in North America, like, the US and Canada. And I think that our market is not oversaturated like it is in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anytime a JRPG comes out that's really good, like Persona 5, people crave it again. And that's the same with me. Like, I like a really good JRPG that when Citizens of Earth came out, like, I couldn't wait just to play that because it reminded me of JRPGs. It just had American humor in it. So is it a sense that it's really coming back? I'm not sure. I don't think it's ever gone away. I just think that we're starved in the Americas for it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're coming out of the first person shooter haze.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
so.
And I also think. Sorry, I just want to say this real quick. I also think that some Japanese RPGs are also adapting elements to better fit and jive with Western culture on certain levels. I mean, look at Dark Souls.
Yeah.
JRPG series.
Yeah.
But very, very, very heavy Western influence. Even if the Japanese DNA is there, the Western influence is there, and that's why it was one of the top 20 selling games, last year. Like something like 6 million, 7 million copies sold across all 3 platforms.
Yep.
And Final Fantasy 15. I think Eric and I have talked about this at length. Very Japanese, exceedingly Japanese, and wonderfully so. But the DNA is definitely there. You see where Western influence has creeped in and sort of cleaned up certain things, and it's like, no, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense for the sake of not making sense. Let's take that out. That sort of thing. So I think that also has to be considered, that it's a combination of the audience maturing and the games being a little more palatable to a Western audience, and they're sort of meeting in the middle.
Yeah, and I think something like we know how huge Persona 5 is like in Japan. It's like one of the biggest things like there, and I think that has bled over like into like North America. The turn-based aspect of it is probably still an acquired taste for some. That's definitely not, I don't think, a mainstream thing, but I definitely think it's a thing that's taking notice. People are definitely more open to these types of experiences now, as opposed to, And then again, let's call it out. I mean, the people.
Like, I think you definitely see like more people jumping onto it because you've seen like more Western games adopt the turn-based, format. So I mean, South Park, for like a lot of people, when they played it, Stick of Truth, they were like, they were super surprised that it was a turn-based game, but people really enjoyed that game. And like you see, smaller games like Child of Light, was a turn-based game, and people really enjoyed that. So I think as more people, jump into these games and kind of, understand what a turn-based game is, and see how much fun they can be, they, are a little more willing to take a look at like a game like Persona or the JRPGs that have like a turn-based style.
And for anybody listening to this podcast as well, like if you're an adult who creates JRPGs, the 3DS is really a place to go because there's a ton of them on there. And it's overlooked by people our age just because
it's a handheld system.
Yep, and it's looked at like a kid thing. Like I got hooked on Yokai Watch, right? I was hooked on that thing. Like I couldn't put it down. Like I had to play through till I beat it, and I loved it. And I love that it had. I mean, it had all the JRPG elements, but it had a little bit of Western influence as well, and it was just great. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, and I was the same way, Clowns. Like growing up, like I didn't play a lot of turn-based. I was like, I don't have time for that. It just didn't appeal to me. But well, I mean, there's just gamer taste change. It's just that's a great thing if you're willing to open yourself up to it. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, Fire Emblem Awakening was the first time that I truly sat down and I said, okay, you know what? I never traditionally played these because like I didn't play Final Fantasy VII, which I know that's sort of blasphemy also. But I'm going to go back to it. Because I decided, you know what, this really wasn't my thing, but I'm going to sit. Everyone's talking about how amazing this game is on 3DS. And like Kyle said, I couldn't put it down. I was like, this game is like amazing. So then from there, it just sort of opened me up to those types of experiences, Yeah.
It's interesting. John early in the podcast said that, he was kind of, take a time out from playing these, long extended campaigns, single player campaigns. And, I just came off of completing Horizon Zero Dawn and rolling into Persona 5. And for me, going from Horizon Zero Dawn to Persona 5 was perfect. Because Persona 5 was, it's just so...
Just different enough.
Yes, exactly. Just different enough. And it's like a video game, if that makes sense. Like it's visually, more appealing, I think, personally. Not that we all know how beautiful Horizon Zero Dawn looks, but it's more realistic. It's just presentation of real life, and Persona 5 is not that. And it was just such a nice breath of fresh air for me to go from Horizon Zero Dawn to Persona 5. Like from the opening like credits, B Money. When that music hits, I was like, what? I already knew. I was like, I'm gonna like this, And then when you get into combat, and after you finish combat, you beat the enemies, and that music kicks in, right?
Yeah,
it just
walking down like the red carpet, showing all your stats or whatever. Like
and I'm like, okay, let's do this again. Like I just get excited, and to me, Persona 5 is it's such a great. It's probably, it's up there for me. Was one of my favorite games this console generation. And I didn't play Persona 4 on the Vita. I think Eric, you dabbled in a little bit. But this game has really exceeded my expectations. I mean, I've been blown away. It just the turn-based combat's fun. The characters are engaging. It's just such a nice game. It kind of reminds me of it gets me. I don't know why. I always think of Jet Set Radio. And I know Jet Set Radio is an RPG, but just the I guess the artistic approach to Persona 5, it kind of reminds me of just some of the things that I loved about a Jet Set Radio Future, which is one of my favorite Sega games ever. It was just visually, it was just so creative, and to me, I've always said this, like, gaming to me is like an art form. It really is. It's an extension of art, like music, like movies. And this game is just doing it for me. So I'm going to get off my Persona 5 soapbox, but it's a fucking great.
Yeah, I mean,
you can probably get Persona 5 soap in Japan.
Don't stream it.
Back to the original question, like, in regards to like if JRPGs are back, or if they've never left. I mean, in my opinion, they never left. I mean, I've always kind of enjoyed them, but there's definitely been a resurgence and just Japanese games as a whole. I mean, we talked about this earlier this year. Like the first 3 months, there was nothing but like Japanese games released, or games released from Japanese publishers back to back to back. And they all received, some pretty high scores, and the reviews. A lot of people really enjoying those games, and I think you'll kind of see that continue throughout this year and even going into next year. There's a lot of great games on the horizon. I mean, Ni no Kuni is probably one of the biggest ones that I'm hoping drops towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And even that one has taken some Western influence, even from just the last game. So Japanese games have never really gone away from me, and I think the resurgence and popularity of them, it has only grown with this console generation. I think it'll continue. Just like you guys mentioned, I think the first person shooter heyday is kind of tailing off a little bit, and I think people are just looking for something else to jump into. So,
and I definitely think this is a prime time for that to like come back to Xbox.
Yeah, it is.
This is a really good time because I think there are people who are definitely looking and open to, these types of games, these types of experiences. And that's in that group that, that goes, oh, that's a niche Japanese track. There's such a small little drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of things. I think Final Fantasy 15 proved it.
Yeah, you took the words from my mouth. I was going to interrupt you and say Final Fantasy 15 was a huge success. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't think it's at all by accident that Phil went to Japan. I think I think they understand that they have to get in front of these developers. They have to really show that they're committed to what they're trying to do. They're committed to those games, and I think kind of what happened with Xbox. At the end of the 360, they kind of went with their market win. They kind of said, hey, people want the COD experience. They want the multiplayer thing going, and those types in the Japanese JRPGs were not necessarily built for that type of scenario, for like live and all that stuff, right? It was very much like on the business side of things. But I think whether it sells a ton, whether it doesn't, you have to foster that and you have to have that available.
Yeah, I mean, I just want more Japanese games, regardless of what platform it is. But if there can be more on Xbox, I'll definitely support them there.
Yeah.
Like anytime there's been Japanese games like Dragon Ball or Naruto series, or whatever Japanese game comes out on Xbox, I'll pick it up there, and play it there. So, I definitely think that support, kind of has to come. And people are always saying they want Japanese games, but you also kind of got to support the ones that are there. I mean, there's some great games as it is. And if you want more games, you kind of got to support those, and I think more will follow, because a lot of those developers are the same, or publishers are the same ones that put games exclusively on PlayStation. So
right,
like there's no Digimon game on Xbox, but it's the same publisher that puts out every other Japanese game that's on Xbox. So those are the type of things you kind of got to look at, not from a fanboy standpoint, but it's the same publisher, all across the board, but they're not providing those games on Xbox. So
right, yeah, because I mean, early to mid 360 life, I mean, a game like Nier Automata would have definitely been on Xbox.
Right.
You know, so that kind of thing needs to kind of come back, and I think it will.
I hope so. I mean, I always thought that the 360 was at its best when 2008, when you had games like Lost Odyssey come out. Lost Odyssey was a great JRPG. Who was that? Was that Miss Walker that did Lost Odyssey?
I
think it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
Hold on. The Google search can tell me, and yes, it was. Mhm.
Okay.
They also did Blue Dragon.
Yeah, Blue Dragon. I mean, and I remember when they announced these games. I remember when, Microsoft announced these games for the 360. A lot of us, at least the people that I was kind of hanging out with at the time, I was a moderator on the GameSpot forums, and I used to talk to a lot of the writers there, and I just remember like when the 360 launched, and then we heard about all these games, just a variety of games. The Lost Odyssey, then we got Gears. I mean, that to me is what made that console so special. And yeah, I even thought the OG Xbox was, in my opinion, a really, I think it's much better than what people give it credit to be. I mean, you had games like Jet Set Radio, you had Ninja Gaiden, and you had a variety of games that that were there on top of the bigger franchises like Halo at the time. So I'd like to see them get back to that. I think I could see it. I could see them going, getting back to that. With Phil's visit out to Japan, I hope that's the case. But I think Eric, like you said, like regardless if it sells or not, give gamers a variety. I'm going to use my famous quote here. I like missionary, but every once in a while I want some doggy style. So it's gamers I think want variety. They want different experiences.
Absolutely, and it's about like hunger. You want that. That's where the competition thing comes in. You know what I'm saying? Like when Microsoft was trying to break in, they were taking everybody, quality stuff, but they were like, you want to be on this platform, let's roll. They were aggressively going after, different types of games, different types of genres, different types of developers, going into the 360 because they needed to show, they needed to establish, But it's the same thing like with Sony. I mean, I think in one way the reason Lost Odyssey landed on 360 is because Sony was feeling themselves a little bit. It was a little harder to work with. The platform was harder to develop for. It's just a lot of different things. And here's Microsoft saying, we have this platform is easy to develop for.
Yeah.
When you need this type of game, come over here, hang out, whatever you want to say. But so again, I think where they sit right now, I think they're realizing, they're seeing, we can't just keep giving up all these default type titles to PlayStation just because people don't think that we want them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people don't remember From Software made like an exclusive game for Xbox. It was called Ninja Blade. And it got pretty good reviews, but like wasn't supported very well. It was in like the bargain bins like pretty much right after release. But those are people ask for games and then the support isn't there. So I just hope that everybody's crying out that they want these games to come to the platform. I just hope that all those Phil's visit wasn't all for nothing.
Right.
Hey, you know what, B-Money? I remember playing the demo for Ninja Blade.
Yeah, it's a great game, man.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Wow, that blast of the past, man.
Yeah, I just picked up Blue Dragon in the spring sale because I never, again, back in the day, it just wasn't my type of game at the time, so I just kind of ignored it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I don't think there were a lot of copies of that running around either, though.
There was not.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pick that up, give that a shot. And I think that was good that they gave Lost Odyssey away for free for a little bit.
When that became back compatible.
Yeah. That was it's a good show of faith. Like, hey, look, try it. What do you go? What can you lose?
Lost Odyssey 2 E3. Boom.
That would be crazy, man.
Calling it.
And hey, Jason Schreier said that they announced that it's a wrap for him.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
Hopefully they get the someone just All Star just mentioned it in the chat. The Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Like how we release Kingdom Hearts 3 on Xbox One with no 1 and 2. So
Right.
you know,
Right.
That's still weird to me. Yeah,
that
that,
is very
things like that.
Right.
Yeah, that is very weird, Sam. I hope hopefully they change them. Is that something that's not going to happen? Is it set in stone that's not going to happen, or is there an opportunity for those two games to come to the Xbox?
I mean, I would think that when they re-released it on PlayStation, that we would have heard some noise about it, even if it was just a time exclusive. You know what I mean? But I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, it was. You mentioned Ni no Kuni. I'm still hoping that a remaster comes to PS4 for Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch.
Man, Bandai keeps talking about it. They trolling us on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
I do
there's
not.
gonna be like a remaster or something like that. But
Right. It would make so much sense because I do not want to pull out the PS3 and wait for those long ass updates.
right.
To play that.
that's where I'm at with Demon Souls. I don't want a
Right.
remaster. And I'm sorry, I'm not budging. I'm not, picking up a new PS3 or, a used one, whatever, just to play that. I'm like, nope, your move. You remaster, I will be there day one. Cash in hand.
Is that still
You
out
could
there?
charge me $40. You could charge me $60 for it, and I would get it. That is not a joke.
Is that in the
Okay.
ether? Wasn't that kind of mentioned that it could happen, or was that shot down?
Honest to God, there's so much back and forth as to what From Software will or will not do. I don't trust any of it.
Right.
I really don't. It'll be
Well.
what it is, I think.
Hey, that's going to be your Switch collection.
Hey, I'm on board. Hey, they do that, I'm on board then.
That's going to be all the Dark Soul games and Demon Souls in
You
one
know what?
Switch package.
We talked about that they could go back and last console gen and bring a lot of those games on the Switch.
they could, man.
Yeah, that would make me very happy.
I just want to throw this out there, man. When NBA Shootout comes out, I'm taking on all challenges.
Oh,
Oh,
Playgrounds. When NBA Playgrounds comes out,
let's go.
You're on.
I'm taking on all challenges. So get your practice on.
All right.
Everybody,
How much
hit.
practice time do you need, dude?
I need no practice. I'm ready to go as soon as it drops.
hey, are
He's
you
ready. Let's do it.
going to go to the
All right,
courts?
let's do it.
You go to the basketball courts and pull out your Switch?
Like, I know you guys are in the middle of this heated game. I got this Switch with these little controllers. Let's go. Let's play some 2K. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's play some 2K. Oh, my goodness. All right, gentlemen. Well, it is 11 p.m. and we're going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast unless anyone has any last things they want to bring up or talk about. No? All right. So, Clowns, man, thank you for coming on again, man. It was, dude, it was great having you on, man. It really was.
Yeah, it was awesome being here, man.
Yeah, so it's always a pleasure to have another fellow hardcore gamer on, and and just shoot the shit and talk video games, man. So we'll definitely have to get you back on, man, as a guest again, man. So definitely appreciate your time. Thank you again.
Yeah, definitely, no problem.
So Clowns, real quick, why don't you go ahead and plug Four Guys Recorders? I know you guys podcast on Thursdays. Is it 7 p.m.?
Yeah, well, it fluctuates, to be honest, because of Taylor's schedule and Inferno's schedule. So it's usually 7 p.m. Eastern every Thursday, but sometimes it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern every Thursday at youtube.com/4guyswithquarters. You can visit us at 4guyswithquarters.com. We're on iTunes, which I probably need to update. We're on Stitcher. We're on a lot of stuff. Just Google us, and we'll be there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, again, man, thank you again. And we got to do like a Four Guys Recorders / Brap podcast, man. Maybe get you and some of the crew of Four Guys Recorders. I don't know how we pull that off. That might overload Hangouts. But
we should definitely do it. It's possible.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. That would be that'd be a lot of fun, man. So. Sam, man, as always, Sam, Eric, and B Money, thank you for your time as always. I definitely appreciate having you guys on. And Sam, Eric, you guys want to go ahead and plug RGM real quick?
Eric, you got something?
Yes, like I always say, definitely check out realgamemedia.com. Good place to come for news, reviews, good writers. Stay clear of the media bias. Just give the facts. Yeah, we're not going for the low hanging fruit on Real Game Media.
Yeah, I told Eric one thing I like about like RGM is that I can just go there and just find what I want and just get it quick and I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Yeah.
Yep, Sam.
Yep, pretty much the same. We've got the RGM podcast this weekend. Lots of cool stuff there. I'm going to have my review of Rain World up probably before any of you are up. Probably that'll be up like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that's pretty cool. And
Nice.
then just keep checking us for the news. We'll post it. Oh, there actually is one other cool announcement I can make. This almost slipped my mind. This is how frazzled I am that this kind of thing would slip my mind. It's official. Me and the other undisclosed members of the team, which will be determined, are going to be seated in at the Rubin Center for the Microsoft press conference.
Nice. That's awesome,
Congratulations.
man.
Good stuff.
Sam, that's awesome, dude. Dude, that's awesome. I can't wait to get your, hear some of your stories, man, when you get back from E3. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I know I just said Rubin Center, and I meant the Galen Center. That's how tired I am. I'm thinking about Reuben sandwiches right now. I am frazzled, dudes.
Nah, dude, I hear that.
But it's cool. It is
awesome,
really cool.
man.
Lots of exciting stuff happening. There's even more that's in the works right now. So,
All right, man.
Yep.
That's awesome. Sweet. Be money, man. What's going on with Tick?
Man, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. A lot of reviews getting pumped out. A lot of great news articles. Some very, interesting stuff going on over there. But you can find us ticgn.com, YouTube /TIC_podcast. We go live every other Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll find myself, Anchorman, and Wood talking the latest gaming news. So definitely come and check us out. I'm brewing on something right now. It'll be pretty big. Just trying to lock down dates. But I'll let you know. When that announcement is ready.
It's nice, man. Nice. All right. Awesome,
Nice.
man. We'll definitely keep an eye out for that. So, hey, big shout out to everyone in the live chat again. As always, great chat. We had some of the usuals. Anchor was in the chat tonight. Inferno from Four Guys with Quarters was in the chat. All-Star Gamer. Am I missing anyone? I probably am.
thank you if you were in the chat.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for you in the chat. I'm sure I'm missing people. And there's some new Digital Tiger. I believe he was new. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. And Tipsy Gamer, I think, was also new as well. Thank you for coming. Oh, he's got a Darth Maul avatar. I like that. Little Sith action. So, real quick, guys, what do you guys think about the Star Wars trailer?
It's good. Good teaser.
It wasn't. I was about to say it wasn't a trailer. It was a teaser. But
Well,
it's exciting.
teaser, yeah.
It's exciting.
Did exactly what a teaser should do. Tease you.
Disney is the master of marketing.
They
Their
are.
Marvel and their Star Wars stuff is always on point.
You guys ready for Great Jedis?
Yes, I want it. Let's do it. Let's shake it up. I got into a debate with a friend about that. He's like, no, there is no gray. You're either Sith or you're Jedi. There's no in between. I'm like,
The expanded universe has long hinted at the idea that the light is just as unbalanced as the dark is. And that was one of the most fascinating concepts of Knights of the Old Republic. So
Right.
if that's actually the direction they're going in, I'm all on board.
yeah, and that's a good theory with what Luke said. So I'm like, let's go for it, right? And then I said we can't complain that Episode 7 was too much like A New Hope, and then if they want to go this kind of route, can't complain about that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's turn it all on its ear.
I like it. I think that's great. I hope that's the direction they're going.
Mhm.
I'm excited. So
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll be back next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll check you guys next week. Hope everyone has a great rest of the week gaming. Peace.